appreciable amount of time, and they hung their defense on Luke Shen being better than he was, and these kind of patchwork guys that they had filling out their 5-6 spots. They're, like I said, they're beat up and their defense isn't good enough. And Brizgalov, who was really good the first couple months of the season, and then he wore down because he's played in 38 games or whatever it's been, and that's a total circus at this point. Mm-hmm. And you have Briz calling out writers by name tonight. It's hilarious.
What happened tonight?
It's a mess. He just called out the guys covering the team just for doing a shitty job, pretty much.
For reporting that he was sleeping.
He got into it sounded like he got into stuff a little bit more deeply than that, but yeah it's just it's just a mess. It's a bad situation there.
Scott Hartnell has 7 points in 23 games.
He's been a dog. Laviolette benched him effectively for a stretch earlier. Right. He's played on the third line, played on the fourth line. I saw today. Briere's been bad to be certainly, but he's played with 11 different line combinations. Like they're just throwing stuff against the wall, and hoping something sticks. And it really is. It's a disaster with them right now.
It's so good to see. The Capitals, on the other hand, have had quite the resurgence. There's been a lot of fresh MVP talk surrounding Ovechkin in the last couple of days. Do you see Sid hanging on to his hold on the Hart, or do you see somebody else coming to the forefront?
I do. I think Sid's going to win it, especially considering that he could even return before the end of the regular season at this point. Ovechkin's been great. It's been honestly kind of fun to see. I think the league's better when he's relevant. Whatever you think of him, otherwise. But no, I wouldn't. You gotta stratify them in one way or another. So no, I would say that Sid still gets the MVP. But my God, Ovechkin's got 26 goals, 27 goals, and he's been playing. He learned right wing on the fly. It's pretty impressive, and what they've done, especially with what Oates has done, has been impressive.
Yeah, Ovechkin's been really, really good recently. Every time I flip over to the Caps games, it looks like he's about to score. Tonight he hit a post that was like one of the hardest shots ever hit a post. But I don't think he's going to be the MVP because part of what makes him look so good right now is how bad he was at the beginning of the year. And I think when people sit down and really look at it, that he's doing now what he should have been doing all year.
Yeah, and it's not, and to say that Crosby's the MVP is not necessarily a knock on Ovechkin. He had 2 months where he was terrible, and he's been phenomenal for the last 6 weeks or whatever it's been. But right, it's at some point the body of work matters, and you say that you were a no-show in January and February, and that should affect things.
And the other thing is they haven't clinched the playoffs yet. I mean, they're still only 2 points up on Winnipeg. They do have a game in hand, but it's two. If they lose one, win one, then they play Winnipeg again. That's it. Then they're not in the playoffs all of a sudden. Which is crazy. Honestly, they've benefited from the fact that the wheels have completely come off the Carolina Hurricanes, who have they've hit they've been unbelievably bad, and it started going south for them when Ward got hurt, but. They have the Ellis, the Dan Ellis, Justin Peters, poo-poo platter, and net. Their stuff went south for them quickly. So, you blink, and then the Caps' only real competition is the Jets, who, are as mediocre could be. But yeah, it is crazy to think that, a couple bounces of the puck, and they're going to be back in ninth place or whatever it would be.
Right. Yeah, not a strong division. Did you guys get a look on NBC at Sid in the press box? I'm sure that they cut to him about 5 or 6 times.
Yeah, they did.
He looks a little thin. Looks like he's not eating. You need to get some meat on those bones.
He'll figure it out.
He said he bailed the first couple days. He said he was doing milkshakes, but then he graduated to insurer or whatever,
Yeah.
whatever boost or stuff like that. He's been drinking. He should probably pound a couple more of them.
But don't you? I think it's a good sign they brought him on the trip. I mean, it means you could see him skating soon, like just like on the ice doing laps or something, which would be definitely a positive sign.
That's true, and then he'll lose 5 more pounds. I mean, this is what we were talking about when this injury happened. Is that the big concern in terms of getting back in time for the playoffs might just be getting back to his weight. And that's going to be an issue.
Absolutely. I think it was a good sign for him whenever the fact that he did avoid having the jaw wired, because that would have been real bad news. It would have been more like 4 to 6 if he would have had the wires in. He would have definitely lost more weight. But at this point, it's just making sure that the stitches are healed and all of that stuff. You got to figure that he's gonna, like you guys said, he's gonna end up working out soon with the team.
Well, the good news is that if we can survive the first round as he's putting on weight, it will look like he's transforming into like Spider-Man or something, having gotten bit by the spider as the playoffs go along. He'll look like Hercules by the end of the playoffs.
Right, he'll be undergoing a metamorphosis.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, thank you very much, Sean, for coming on. We appreciate it. People who are looking for you, tell them where to find you.
Yeah, you guys can. I'm at sportingnews.com, NHL, and my Twitter is Sean Gentille. It's just my name, one word, SEAN, Gentile with an extra L. And it's been a blast. We'll talk to you guys again soon for sure.
All right, thanks, Sean. Thanks everybody for listening. Until next time, GTOG.